Juncker lashed out at UK as Brexit reveals democratic deficit in Commission, expert says. Shankar Singham, Director of Economic Policy at the Legatum Institute, said European Commission officials should view Britain's departure from Brussels as an opportunity to review some of the internal regulations and policies. Speaking exclusively to Express UK, Mr. Singham said, "We are very interested in the UK and ensuring that our soon-to-be trading partner in terms of trade negotiations, the European Union, is a successful entity. That the member states themselves are successful and they are our closest trading partner. Having said that, I hope this is an opportunity for European Commission officials to have a look at some of the internal regulations and so forth, some of the policies, and ask the sort of critical questions about why Britain left, why there is so much hostility to this." Mr. Singham added Mr. Juncker's negative approach to Brexit could be rooted in the fact it had shown people a lack of accountability within the Commission. He said, and also look at things like democratic accountability in the Commission. You know, that's why Juncker's comments were quite negative, because this sort of shows people that there is this democratic deficit in the Commission. Not in the Council of Ministers, but in the Commission. Mr. Singham said the real power in the bloc lay with the members, Council of Ministers and Head of States. And if they united, the Brussels bureaucracy would have to listen. He said, the member states and the Council of Ministers and the heads of states of the different European member states are the most powerful people. If they are agreed on something, it is going to be very difficult for the Commission or Michel Barnier to do something else. That is where the negotiation mandate ultimately comes from. Now Barnier himself, as their negotiator, has been fairly reasonable about all of this. The European response to the Article 50 letter was very reasonable. The European negotiating position, there are certain things we might not agree with, but it's a relatively reasonable starting point. Mr. Singham, who founded the International Roundtable on Trade and Competition, said EU leaders would face a backlash over its anti-Brexit rhetoric, as he insisted the Commission's job was to honor the will of its member states. He said, generally what happens in this sort of process is power will shift from the Commission to the member states. The issue is simply too important for member states to sort of leave it to the Commission, so what will happen over time is the Commission will become an implementer of the will of the member states, which is what's supposed to happen anyway. I think some of the comments Juncker has made might accelerate that process. I think member states are pretty unhappy with the way this is being handled.